Meet Mr. Joshi, a 43-year-old consultant with a hectic lifestyle. Mr. Joshi is proud of his ability to balance work with exercise. Of late though, things haven't been the way they used to be. Mr. Joshi is flabbergasted with the latest turn of events, and the other day when he failed to recognize his family doctor from a distance, he knew all wasn't well with him. The doctor is only too quick to figure out the possible cause of the problem. Mr. Joshi is advised to consult an ophthalmologist. He is diagnosed as having low vision. But what is low vision? Low vision is impaired vision that cannot be adequately corrected by conventional eyeglasses, contact lenses, medicine and surgery. World Health Organization estimates that there are around 135 million people worldwide in need of low vision care, with developing countries accounting for the maximum instance of low vision. Worse still, people with low vision who aren't aware of available assistance are much more likely to suffer profound lifestyle, physical, economic, social and psychological consequences.
Doctor, now tell us, what is low vision?
When we describe low vision is, by definition, you can consider as the vision which is necessary for a person to perform his own business or way of earning, and that vision is not enough for him, should be considered as low vision.
Can it be cured?
Now, before we say whether it can be cured or not, let us try and identify what are the different groups in which these people get a low vision. Now, there are some changes on the retina which a healthy retina gets damaged and the person gets a very poor vision. Now, let us see what a healthy retina looks like. Now, this is what a healthy retina is. This is the optic nerve, these are the blood vessels, and there is a very small spot in the center which is called as a fovea, which is about 0.33 millimeters in diameter. Now, if you look at this second visual, you will realize when we inject a dye into the blood and take a sequential photograph of the retina, we realize that the central portion of the retina, what is called as a fovea, has hardly any blood supply. Because it has no blood supply, we have the best of the visual acuity. But that is what makes it more susceptible to different diseases which affect the central portion and makes the patient lose his good sight. Now, just let us look at this particular condition. Now, this is the same optic nerve. Now, in the center where the patient is supposed to have the best of the vision, what we call as a 6/6 vision, because he has developed a scar over here because of certain retinal disease or a degenerative condition, his central vision is lost. He is unable to read the small prints. Now, these are the people, those who need to be helped with the low vision. Now, what the scientists are trying to do is, as far as the cure of the low vision is concerned, they are trying to transpose this particular retina somewhere else and bring that healthy retina here, so that possibility the sight may improve. But that is still in the experimental stage and there is not much literature available about it. But these are the people who can otherwise move around in the society. They can go on the roads. But if you ask them as to which bus this is and where it is going, then they will not be able to read that number. So that is they are visually handicapped. And these are the people who need these kind of visual helps.
What is the effect of contrast and colors on the visibility?
Because ultimately, whenever we talk about the contrast, an object placed in front of some other object, if the background is very, very faint and the object in front is very, very shiny or very dark, it can be identified easily. Just now look at this plane, this particular pen and this particular hand. Now if I place this pen in front of my hand, this becomes very, very visible. But if the background is red color only, then it will be very difficult for us to identify this particular pen. In short, I'll just give a simple example. These days, the government of India has decided to change the color, plates of these vehicles. So instead of having white color on a black background, they have decided now to have a better visibility. The plate should be white and the number should be black. So this is a sort of a contrast in which a same subject or the same object or the same thing can be made much more clearer compared to the surrounding background that it had.
How to diagnose low vision?
Now as I said, when a man is just 40 or a woman is just a 40, the first complaint she would have is, doctor, these days I cannot thread the needle. I cannot clean the grains, or in embroidery I find it very difficult. So that is just an aging change because of which a lady or a man who was otherwise able to read, write, do things is unable to do that. So we give him an aid in the form of a glass. So that is a very, very simple visual aid as we can call it. That is also low vision, but because we wear glasses of appropriate power or appropriate diopter, we start seeing the same object or thread the needle again. So this is a very, very simple thing now. Now as I said, those people who have bad retina because of some retinal diseases, they are unable to do their jobs, or they are even unable to read the letters, they are unable to read the newspaper. So for them, we give them different kind of magnifiers, because ultimately magnifier is the solution. Unless a thing is, or unless a word or a picture is magnified, they will not be able to see it, or the vision will not be able to capture them. So most of the visual aids are in the form of magnifiers.
Who should be advised to use low vision device, doctor?
Depending upon the type of work the person is having. I don't know whether you must have seen a diamond cutter or the people who repair our wristwatches. They have a sort of a monocular telescope through which they can see even the smallest part of that clock which they want to repair. So for them also it is a sort of a visual aid. Now compared to the other class, those who have got this age-related macular degeneration, they are not able to read the newspaper. For them there are different devices, different magnifying lenses, different specs by which the same letters appear much bigger and they are able to identify them or read them. Or there is a new device that has come in the market, what is called as a CCD camera. That CCD camera is kept in the mouse of the computer. The mouse moves on the paragraph and the same paragraph can be identified or much more enlarged on the screen, and a person who is otherwise unable to read that newspaper or a letter or whatever it is, or the small figures, he is able to identify them.
How to prescribe low vision instrument?
To prescribe a low vision instrument, as I said, again depends upon a person's visual need. If a person is very badly handicapped, then the best solution for him is to have the CCD camera. But those who are in between, actually we have different instruments, as you are now seeing here, these are the different instruments. So the person has to pick up the particular magnifying device, find out whether that particular magnifying device is going to help him out in performing his job or not. So in short, that magnifying device or that visual aid should be such that it should be able to make that person do his work.
What is visual acuity?
Now, whenever we talk of a visual acuity, the moment you go to a doctor and ask for eye report, the first sentence will say the visual acuity 6 by 6. Now, when we talk about 6 and 6, that means it is the 6 meters, which comes to about 20 feet. So, a person, if he is having a normal sight and he is compared with the other person, a letter that has been shown on our vision chart, that you can see here, that the vision chart here, if he is able to identify that letter sitting at a distance of 6 meters, then he is supposed to have 100% vision. In short, a letter a normal person is able to identify at a distance of 6 meters. If that person identifies at the age of 6 meters, at the distance of 6 meters, he is supposed to have 100% visual acuity, or what is called in American language as 20 by 20, or in British language what is called as a 6 by 6 vision. So that is what we call as a acuity of vision. That is for the distance. So same one, acuity of near comes. So either it is in the form of n or it is in the form of z. So we call that n by 10, n by 8, n by 6 vision. So it all depends upon what print or what size of the object or that particular letter he is able to read.
What is night blindness, doctor? And what is color blindness? What is the difference between these two?
When it comes to night blindness, there are two types of night blindness. One is a curable night blindness, the other is a non-curable night blindness. Now, when it comes to a curable night blindness, every one of us has heard, even in the childhood, in schooling, that eat green leafy vegetables, drink milk, take eggs, take some non-vegetarian diet that will supplement you with a lot of vitamin A, so that the rods that are present in our retina are well preserved, are well nourished, and our vision at night is well maintained. Now I will again show you a similar visual here. Now let us consider the same person again. This is called as the central vision, or we can consider that this is a day vision, and this portion of the retina which is at the periphery can be considered as a night vision. Now those who have got retinal diseases, what is called as a retinitis pigmentosa. Now in this condition, you can look at the periphery of the retina. She has developed all these black spots. These are the retinal pigments which are otherwise not visible. They start becoming visible and the person starts losing sight at night. This is what happens to him initially. Subsequently, these diseases, as it progresses further and further, by the age of 40 or 45 or maybe at the age of 50, the disease starts approaching even the center of the sight and he loses the vision even in the center. Now I will give another example. These people who are having night blindness because of what is a disease called as a retinitis pigmentosa, they have only a central acuity of vision. That means as though they are seeing through a central small cylinder. That is the vision they have. In order to improve their sight, there are wide angle lenses so that the vision becomes at a much wider angle, and for him moving around becomes slightly easier. So that is also one kind of a visual aid. So in night blindness, when it is because of vitamin A deficiency, you give them green leafy vegetables, provide them milk, or there are vitamin A tablets or capsules, you provide them that, or sort of a cod liver oil. Previously it was very popular. You provide them and their night blindness will disappear forever. But these kind of diseases, what they are called as a retinitis pigmentosa, unfortunately till today there has not been any sort of a solution on them, and we are the scientists and the doctors are still trying their level best to give some kind of a visual benefits to these kind of a people. As far as the color vision is concerned, there are different ways by which we can identify the color vision. Now you see this particular chart. Now the first letter shows is the number 12. This is having such a color contrast that even a person who is color blind should be able to identify the number, so that he knows what subsequent test he is going to perform or what subsequent questions he is going to be asked to. Now subsequent colors are shown in such a way that they are so mixed, or what is called as the color contrast. They are so close to the other colors that a person who has color blindness is unable to identify those colors. For a normal person, he can just say that, okay, this is number 5, this is number 6, this is number 10, this is number 23. But a person who is color blind, if you show them this kind of a papers or this kind of a page what is called as Ishara chart, which is popular all over the world. He's just unable to see that, and that is what is called as a color blindness. Color blindness is also by birth. There is practically no treatment for that, and most of the conditions which are causing color blindness are still unknown, and still there is a lot of research going on. Hopefully something will come out.
Low vision does not mean blindness. Individuals with low vision have some useful residual vision, and with the use of proper optical devices, they can maximize their remaining vision. An individual who is legally blind has a visual acuity of no more than 20 by 200 in the better eye with the best corrected lens in place, and has a field of view of no greater than 20 degrees. A partially sighted or visually impaired person has a visual acuity of no more than 20 by 70 in the better eye with the best corrected lens in place.
What is a diopter?
Whenever we prescribe glasses, we write down +3 diopters, -3 diopters, +1.5 diopters. So many patients do have this question in their mind as to what is this diopter. One diopter indicates 1/f, that means the focal length of a lens. Let us consider that this particular lens, it is written -7. That means if this lens is held at a particular distance from the eye or from an object, it will form the image. Now just let us consider for that matter a simple device, a +10 lens. If I hold a +10 lens in front of a very, very bright object and try to bring that object focused on a piece of paper, if it is a plus lens diopter, I will have to go much closer in order to have the image of that particular object or a lamp or a bulb or whatever is having illuminated surface to have an image on the piece of paper. Now if it is +5, the paper will have to be held much behind so that the object forms its image on that paper. So this is a sort of a relation between the image formed by that particular lens on a piece of paper on the retina. So whenever we talk that the patient is having +10 lens, that means it has a very, very short focal length. And when you say it is a +1 or +2 or -1, -2, it has a very long focal length. That is what we talk and say in terms of diopters.
What is Desolated Retina? We don't know the meaning of this. Can you explain that to us?
Now let us see the same retina again, which is considered as a normal retina. You can see here that the optic nerve, the blood vessels and the fovea. If you look at the color, it is very, very bright, pink in color, and it looks very, very healthy. Now let us see a tessellated fundus for that matter. Now this particular retina looks very, very different color. Even the whole color is much different than what I shown in the previous figure. Not only that, here practically you are not able to see the retinal pigment. Instead of that, a layer that is behind the retina, what is called as a choroid, that is seen. So this is what is called as a tessellated fundus, or in short, it is a degenerated retina.
Encouragingly, one's quality of life does not have to suffer because of the vision loss. The solution to a patient's needs is often individual to him. So, it is advisable to get in touch with a low vision specialist or a doctor who specializes in the rehabilitation of those with impaired vision.